was freezing, the first day of the season. Yeah, when it comes to retrieving, old Duke's on his game. A John boat, a couple of mojos. Shoot, they gon' know that we don't play. Well, somebody say amen. Let's give 'em black water baptism.
Welcome to the Simmons Sporting Goods All Things Hunting Podcast, brought to you by Realtree Outdoors, Browning Firearms, and Browning Ammo. Here's your hosts, Caleb Wallace, Cole Barthel, and Kyle Bearfield.
All right, guys, welcome to episode 4 of the All Things Hunting Simmons Sporting Goods podcast. Got some special guests this week here. Sitting to my right is Lloyd Landry IV and Lloyd Landry V, some of the, I think, best redfish and speckled trout guys there are around. Guys, we appreciate y'all being here.
Well, thanks. We appreciate it.
And, up here we've talked some on the podcast about how we like to hunt anything, fish, and whatever's in season, we like to do it. And what's always in season in Louisiana down on the southern end of the state is fishing in the marsh for speckled trout and redfish. And Kyle, you're over there grinning like you may like to do a little of that yourself.
Man, I like fish. This is the All Things Hunting Podcast, but like we told you, sometimes fishing too, because we do like to fish. And I'm jealous of these guys that get to fish down there. I know it's hard work, but I'm gonna have to come fishing with them.
Yeah, it is hard work, but I mean, it's what we love. I've done it over 20 years, and I'm fortunate now to have my son working with me full time. It's been really fun. If you ask my friends and probably my wife, all we do is play. You know, we stopped here on our way back from working on deer stands where we deer hunt in Missouri, and we're heading back home to go back to work, which is fishing. So, we're definitely lucky. It is a hard job, but it's I couldn't imagine doing anything else. I'm about to go back and work for the next 4 or 5 days straight inshore. 5, we got a buddy. He's going to take them guys and they're going offshore, do overnighter. So they'll leave Thursday and go out and come back Friday boat full of tuna and snapper and lemonfish and grouper and.
That just sounds terrible.
Yeah, and the weather's beautiful. So inshore, offshore fishing's really really hot right now. But
so hit on that one time for the people that may not know inshore versus offshore fishing. What species are you targeting, and what's the main difference here?
Well, where we fish out of Dularge, we fish all inshore species are redfish and speckled trout. We do catch a lot of bass where we're at. We're right off the Chaffalaya River, and if you kind of look at the bottom of Louisiana, everyone that we fish from Venice to Dularge, and it's between the two major rivers that feed out into the Gulf of Mexico, and our estuary is just incredible. Just tons of bait and tons of fishing opportunities. We do have a lot of coastal erosion issues, but for the most part, man, we're really fortunate of having such a vast area to fish every day, no matter what wind direction or weather we have. Now, unfortunately, we had some bad weather. You were just down.
I was supposed to go fishing, a couple of days down there with Lloyd, and there's no rain in the forecast or anything. And I guess us rednecks brought the bad weather and the bad omen with us. The thunderstorms came rolling in about the time we did, but we still caught some fish, had a good time, ate some good food. It was still a heck of a good trip.
Oh yeah, we Outcast Fishing Charters. We offer everything, food and lodging. And fishing, and we do it all. I used to guide ducks for over 20 years, and I moved my business from Buras, which is down the Mississippi River, towards Venice, and I moved to Dularge, which is to the west, mainly because of coastal erosion. And I figured I made 20 years where I was, and if I was going to have another, hopefully not 20 for me, but for my son, a future, we needed to kind of make a move, and I just felt we moved to the west to Dularge, and I did quit guiding ducks, and I'll be honest, I don't miss it at all. Over 20 years of guiding duck hunts and fishing, it was a lot. And now we're duck hunting for fun, which is one of our loves.
Absolutely.
But and that's, y'all store is just so packed with so much duck hunting stuff.
Appreciate
you come in here as a sportsman, and all right, I'm a fisherman, I'm a fishing guy, and I walk in and it's like Disney World here, man. It's everything you want, hunting, fishing, any type of apparel, anything for food plots. Man, I mean, we walked from the front to the back and really didn't even stop, and we just saw everything that we do in our lives. So definitely, if you need anything, you can come to this store and they have it. And if they don't have it, I know you can get it.
Well, that's right. We'll order it and get it for you if we don't have it.
Hey, I heard you say, Lloyd, explain what coastal erosion is exactly.
Well, so over the millions of years that the Delta was formed, the Mississippi River and the Atchafalaya River flooded its banks. And as it flooded its banks, the sediment deposited and built land. Mm-hmm. And as we've levied off our rivers and cut oil canals and access canals in and out of our marshes, it's allowed the salt water to intrude and to kill this marsh. It kills the root systems, and a lot of it washes away. And just over time, it just keeps the coastline keeps creeping in more and more and more. I watched Buras, Empire, and Venice just wash away. Really? Oh yeah, in 20 years. I mean, it's disheartening. The fishing's still great, but it's just so close to being washed away by one major hurricane.
Well, I remember, I fished with you at Buras, I guess about 2 years ago, and probably the best red fishing trip I ever been on. I mean, we sat there and caught and released fish till we were out of shrimp and our arms were wore out, and we were talking about that when I was down a couple of weeks ago fishing with you at Dularge. I was like, you remember that point where we caught all those redfish? He's like, yeah. He's like, the sad thing is that point's not there anymore.
We call it Redfish Point, and it used to stick out another 100 yards, and it just kept creeping back, and it was full of mangroves and shell banks and all, and just over time it just completely washed away, which really stinks. But I mean, it's just part of life. Mankind, we did a lot of it to ourselves, and they're trying to do some things to reverse it. And in people's mind, they think you can go out there and just dredge and run a diversion out there and it'll build right up. No, it took millions of years to make it. Some of these projects may not produce much land rest of my life. So it sucks. But I always look at fishing as I look at it like a puzzle. So many guys they catch a fish at spot A, B, and C, and in their minds, that's all they know, A, B, and C. Go to those specific spots. And it's the same with, in freshwater. Myself, I'm constantly, why are those fish there? What tide's doing what bait's there? It's just, there's always, things are always changing. So, that's kind of how I look at a spot, and when I'm catching fish here, I'm thinking, all right, what else do I know that's like this, that I can go somewhere? And one good thing about now having a full-time teammate, we split up with groups, and I go left and 5 goes right, and we're able to kind of work more areas and cover more ground and make it easier finding fish for us. And some days he finds them, and I go to him, and vice versa. So
any friendly wagers goes on there? Any competition of who's going to find the fish first? Or
No, because at the end of the day, whoever catches them, we get them both. So
yeah, as long as everybody's happy, that's all we care about. We want you to come back, So, and it's not always about catching as many fish as it is, a lot of times father, son, grandson. It's about the experience and the fellowship and. Yeah, I got a ton of customers that are meat whores, and they like, I gotta get 100 trout, I gotta get 20 reds, I gotta, and then on Tuesday they're sitting in their cubicle, man, I wish I was fishing.
That's right.
They should have took more of it in.
Take it in. Exactly. That's it. That's right. So Kyle hit on, lucky being able to fish every day. I'm sure you get that a lot. People think that you just like you said, your wife thinks you're just playing all the time, but I mean, it's a lot of dang work goes into guiding anything, especially the way you guys run your outfit. And I mean, it's second to none, in my opinion. Give me the day of a fishing guide in Dularge, Louisiana.
I don't know. I mean, we leave our house like summertime. It's getting daylight, and we try to leave. We try to leave about 5:15, 5:30. So I mean, I'm getting up at 3:30. If driving to the camp, which is about an hour away, get everybody situated, breakfast. Leonard's got breakfast made and sandwiches and all, and then Five and I will head to our boats and get the boats in the water, and try to be waiting for everybody at the dock to take off. Well, in the evenings when we get in, and I'm bad for it. He's a lot more organized than me. When we get in, it's like, all right, I know we got to hurry and go clean fish, but let's gas our boats so that we don't have to fool with that in the morning, because sometimes you get there in the morning and the place is, packed with people.
Sure.
But, we'll fish, and we don't have a time clock. So many people, all right, well, we fish till 1 o'clock. We're going to be back at 1. Well, if it's a great day and you can get back at 1, that's cool. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes fishing's tough. And, I always looked at a guy didn't drive from Dallas for 8 hours to come and hurry up and go out and fish for 3.5 hours to be the first one back at the dock, So, we give you a fair day, and just that's what we've always done. We get in, and anywhere between 1 and 3 o'clock normally we'll clean fish. Customers will, kind of relax, and if they're going home, they'll take showers and pack up their stuff, and by the time they're done, we're through cleaning fish, and then we got boats to clean and grass to cut and toilets to fix, and I get home at 8 o'clock at night,
Well,
and
you mentioned Leonard having breakfast ready. He always also, if anybody staying the night with you there, Leonard does supper too, and I'm here to tell you it's worth the trip just to eat down there.
It is, yeah. He spoils you. I mean, we'll have charboiled oysters, blackened redfish. You can eat pork chops and chicken and steak every night.
That's right.
Anywhere, but you can't have, good seafood every night. We're blessed. A lot of times I don't want to eat it. I want some chicken or something,
Yeah.
So, but it takes a whole team, and I mean, I'm lucky to have Leonard and Five and a good cleaning lady, and we make it work.
Give me the like your dates throughout the year. What's your busy time, your slow time? When you get the deer hunt, duck hunt, when you get to relax a little bit?
August slows up because kids are going back to school
right
into the beginning of September, and then normally September to Thanksgiving is just about every day. And then like right now, I don't have any days open in October, and I only got a handful left in November. And that's us trying to squeeze in a quick deer hunt the first week in November, and then come back, and then we'll grind it until Thanksgiving, and then we'll take off normally most of the week of Thanksgiving and spend with my family. And then after that, we'll work till about the second week of December, and we'll go back up, make another deer hunt, and then we'll come back and work till Christmas. We're fortunate we can fish all through the winter. We have a real good winter fishery. So
January kind of the same thing.
Oh yeah, January. If we're not fishing, we're deer hunting.
Let's see, I didn't see any slow time.
No, we don't.
Spring is rock and rolling.
Yeah,
too.
rock and roll. Fishing's real good.
Yeah.
So.
Five, tell me about one of the offshore trips. What does somebody expect on that? Overnighter. That's Cole's favorite fishing trip, by the way. Overnighter.
We got a story for that later.
Actually, probably going overnight Thursday night. But a typical offshore day would be we'd leave probably about 5 o'clock in the morning. It's probably an hour run out to the pass, and then from there we're going to deep rigs, hitting, try amberjack, grouper, go to a couple of reefs and stuff, and snapper, which right now we can't catch red snapper with the federal snapper permit we got, but recreational fishermen could Friday, Saturday, and Sunday still catch them. But still amberjack, grouper, snapper, try and catch a lemon fish on the way in, stuff like that. The only bad thing with tuna, where we're at, out of Venice, the deep water is right there. but more towards the Chafalaya River. I don't know how far out.
100 miles.
Yeah.
To catch a tuna, you got to go 100 miles?
Yeah. That just makes it more difficult for a day trip. That's why Thursday night we're probably going to make it overnight. Spend the night out there trying to catch tuna. On the way back, see what else we can.
That sounds like more time to ride and drink beer.
Oh, yeah.
Right. I did see a meme the other day, and it makes me think of when Caleb says he's going fishing, and it was like, the meme said something like, when my husband says he's going fishing, and it was just a bunch of pictures of Stone Cold Steve Austin shotgunning beer. You know, so made me laugh. But how when you're out there fishing for tuna, that's one fish that I've never caught offshore. I have caught a good many fish offshore, and me and Cole got a good story about when we both fished offshore, but I've never fished for tuna much. What could somebody expect, or what could be prepared for on a trip with y'all?
There's multiple different ways to catch them. A lot of times our favorite way, just free line and live bait. So you pull up to a floater and you throw hardtails out, which is a little bait fish, or we call them butterfish. I don't know the real name for them, but a lot of times you can see them on your graph and stuff, so you throw out your live baits and hopefully they come hit you. But there's also different ways you can jig for them. You can free line dead cut bait.
Yellowfin, blackfin, what?
Mhm.
Both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, look, there's no telling what you're going to catch. You know, we've been on a boat, hooked Marlin. We never boated a Marlin, but I've been on a boat. He caught his first Marlin last summer in the Gulf. So, I mean, it's endless of what you can catch, you know. And then we do deep dropping also with electric reels down to about 1,000 foot of water. And, I mean, you go down there and catch monsters, you know.
You're waiting to see what you catch when it's coming up.
You don't know what it is.
It is awesome. You're like, what do we have? What do we have? You know, you got 5 big chunks of cut bait on a 7-pound weight, just down to the bottom, and you watch that pole just do that, and sometimes it comes up easy, and sometimes it
Touches the water.
Touches the water. You're like, golly.
What are you normally catching on those?
Tilefish.
Yeah, tilefish, grouper, bearded. I mean, just you name it.
You don't know.
Look, we have an app on our phone because sometimes you get something and you're looking at it.
You go, what the hell is this?
What is this? There's 13 different species of snapper.
Wow.
So I mean, you're like, we know 5 or 6 of them. The rest of them, you're like, all right, where's Waldo in the book? You know, you're trying to figure out what it is.
Have you ever caught an Alfonsino?
Nope.
I was on a boat where we caught one down deep like that, and then when we caught him, the captain was like, "I'm 65 years old, and that's the second one I've ever caught."
I'll have to look it up.
It looks like a goldfish. I guess it's in the snapper family, but it got a big eye. But it literally looks like a goldfish with a big eye. But it's a cool fish. So apparently it's really rare. And I didn't know what we had caught until that guy, he told me that. He said the second one he had caught. Come by Simmons Sporting Goods and check out the new A5 semi-auto shotguns from Browning. The best there is. Now back to the Simmons Sporting Goods All Things Hunting podcast.
Well, bow fishing sounds be pretty cool offshore, because I mean, a lot of times when you back up to a rig and we're catching trying to catch lemonfish, or we're catching snapper or mangrove snapper, there's tons of different types of fish swimming all around. Yeah. You know, especially if you're chumming out trying to catch mangroves, there's all kinds of stuff swimming around.
I'm anxious to hear what y'all tore up on your bow fishing. Look, these two are the hardest 2 people on hunting equipment on the face of the earth, hands down.
You sure about that?
I don't know. I can break a handle with a rubber mallet.
It was an adventure, and I'll get into it. We and I believe it's still like this, but our goal was we wanted to bow fish a shark, and I believe the laws or they were back then, off the coast of Alabama, you could do it by Alabama law, but you could not do it in Louisiana. It was illegal to shoot a shark with a bow. So we did it out of Orange Beach.
Right. And
we were actually going on a sword fishing trip overnight for swordfish, but I was talking to the guys about, hey, this is our goal. We want to try to bow fish a big bull shark. And they said, well, just so happened that when we run these lights off the back of the boat and everything, we're sword fishing, there's bull sharks, and we see all kinds of sharks come around. So we said, okay, we're bringing the bows. And we were at the beach, and we were on vacation and fishing, so we decided to stay up the night before, you know.
Drink them cool
Too
pops.
late. Didn't get it quite enough sleep. I don't know if we got any sleep.
That was the problem.
And so we
Little
left the
place
next
down there that
morning.
stays open until real late.
Yeah,
That was a real long time ago, but still.
we started off catching some snapper and stuff, kind of like you said, catching some reef fish on the way out, and then we got into the sword fishing part of it, and sure enough, we had the lights out, and some big sharks started just coming cruising by, and we saw what we thought was a real big bow shark. And I wanted to, at the time, try to set the bow fishing world record with a bull shark, which would be shoot the shark with a bow, and it's attached to a rod, and then you fight him to the boat and put him in the boat. And that was kind of what they, you couldn't assist with any weapons or other kind of guns or anything to kill a shark.
Did you set this goal in the bar the night before?
We probably did. We probably did.
Good old Florida.
And so we shot the shark, and it was pretty good seas too. And I don't know, Cole.
I've been sick the whole time.
He was sick the whole time.
I was miserable. I said I'm never going offshore ever again.
Yep.
I had the patch, I had the wristband, and I took Dramamine. And the night before didn't help.
Right.
But I was miserable the whole time.
Yeah. And so, but he helped me, film. I shot the shark, and it was a pretty good shot. Not that good a shot, because, when I shot the shark, the captains were like, that's the best shot I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, well, it ain't too hard to hit a 55-gallon drum at 6 yards,
Right.
But shot him, and then he started peeling drag,
It was
and
bad.
I think I hit him kind of in midline of his body, like up in his meat, under his dorsal, and so I couldn't turn his head, basically, so he could still do whatever he wanted, and we fought him for 2.5 hours, and the way we were having to fight him was put the boat in reverse and get over him, and then try to gain on him a little bit, and then he would peel out, the whole spool, basically, until we put the boat in reverse and caught him, and got him up to the boat.
Wore him out.
And the mate and the captain, I guess they didn't think about getting him in the boat at first, and they're like, well, you just want to cut the line? I'm like, no, we want to get him in the boat and weigh him and all that, and I didn't realize, me being naive and a rookie, I was at the time, what happens when you gaff a shark that big. And when that mate leaned over and gaffed that shark, it was all that he could do to not have that shark pull him overboard, went to flopping, all that. I think he lost the gaff, the line popped, shark, didn't get in the boat. He broke off and got away, but it was an adventure. And then I think we just went to sleep, and after that, and let them sword fish, because we were both worn out.
Learned one thing though.
Lloyd said there going, this guy ain't coming fishing with me.
No, we see it all the time.
Spend the night, I'm good with that.
Yeah, guys get out and especially like they come to the camp for 2 nights, and first night wide open, and then the next day they're fishing, they're just dragging, and or man, why don't you stay up and drink another beer with us? I'm like, dude, I do this every day. I'm working 200 days a year doing this. Yeah, I'm gonna stay and visit and all, but my new camp, I don't have my own bedroom. My old camp, I had my own room. So a lot of times look, man, I'm gonna go use the bathroom, not hurry up, and I go lock my door and go to bed, and let them stay up all night. And I'd get up at 4:30, and they're up still playing cards, and Pyrutin, and then they pay for it the next day. But it, like we said, it's about the experience. Look, you had a trip you'll never forget.
That's right.
You didn't get the one that got away, but that's what it's about. You had fun with your friends.
Yeah, we did have a good time. They
While
caught
we're on the
big swordfish too.
While we're on the subject of Orange Beach, one of my favorite stories that you tell, you brought a big check home from the wharf in Orange Beach, and did a pretty good bit of boating to get it. You mind sharing that story with us?
Yeah, this was the year after Katrina. I fished Boy Alberto and the FLW Redfish Tournament trail, professional trail, for like 11 years. And it was tough when my kids were small. I mean, my wife wins a prize for it, you know. But that particular tournament, my partner and I won 50 grand. And we ran from the wharf for 2 days, and we went to Delacroix, which is 158 miles. And then on day 3, we had made the top 5. And on day 3, we knew let's see, was it Orange Beach? No, we ran to Venice. The one I won, we ran to Venice. I'm sorry, because we ran from Orange Beach, and it wasn't that rough on the first 2 days. I've actually run from Alabama to Louisiana 5 times in tournaments, but the Orange Beach one, the wharf one, we ran to Venice for 2 days, and on day 3, it was so rough we opted not to make the run, and we went to Pascagoula, and we made it back, and we won 50 grand. So it was
So on the run, and I mean, when he says run to Venice, like left at blast off from the wharf in Orange Beach, went to Venice Fish, and was back for weigh-in.
with 3.
I mean, how long?
It's
how
3
long-
hours
what's the
one
time
way,
period in that
3-hour run,
How fast are you going on that?
60.
Oh gosh.
So how much time you got to fish?
An hour, less than an hour.
Less
Less
than
than
an
an hour
hour?
to fish.
You knew you could catch them though.
Yeah, we left. We'd been babysitting them. They were sitting in one spot. Pulled up, picked them. Boom, boom. Actually, probably one of my fastest times I ever caught fish was with my dad in an Obo Alberto All-Star. We ran from Lulu's, and I ran to Delacroix, and that was like 164 miles one way, and we had enough gas that I ran straight to the fish, and when I got there, actually when we left that morning, we ran out, we hit the Mobile Bay, and we were heading towards, we were going to kind of run the coast, and you run those islands, Dolphin Island, Ship Island, Horn Island, Crab Island, all those islands to Biloxi, and then you kind of shoot straight across, because like it's 72 miles from Hard Rock Cafe in Biloxi to Baptiste Colette in Venice. Straight run, straight across. So that's what we would normally do. We would run that coast and then run across. And then as soon as you got there, you went and got fuel because you were on fumes. And then you went and caught your fish, stopped, top back off. And then, because you have to put all that into account, you know. And my dad, we ran all the way to these fish. And when we pulled up to the spot, I didn't bring my dad and show him where they were. I'd been watching them in my brother's flatboat, so nobody knew what I was doing. And when we got there, I mean, I immediately put the trolling motor over, and I bumped the school, and I saw the school push towards this duck blind, and our first 2 casts. 2 casts, that's all we made. And we caught our 2 fish, They had to be under 26 inches. I measured them, they were both under 26 inches. I knew we were going to make, you know, a top 10 weight. Threw them in the well. My dad's like standing up trying to fish, and I'm like, no, bro, we going. I said, we going. You know, so we just ran 3 hours and 12 minutes, made 2 casts, caught 2 fish, and just got lucky because they both measured right under 26, because in Alabama they have to be under 26 inches. And then you can't go out in federal waters on the way back. You have to stay inside state waters.
Oh shoot.
But you also have to have a Louisiana fishing license, a Mississippi fishing license, because you take the fish in Mississippi and Alabama. So, you know, there was always a lot of pieces of the puzzle, which was kind of crazy.
That stresses me out just thinking about it.
It was stressful, but I mean, you do a lot of crazy things for 50 grand. I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah, you're right, you do.
I deer hunted the one that I won. You know, I split 50 grand with my partner. I left Orange Beach, drove home, got home. My kids they were all babies. They were all up waiting for me. Daddy had a check this big, you know, with my name on it. I showed him the check. Went to bed. I got up at 4 o'clock in the morning, drove to Beerus, and I guided 17 days straight. Because I guide for a living, so I didn't bank on winning. You know, I wanted to win, but I make my living on the deck of my boat. So I fished every day up until Thanksgiving, and then I deer hunted so much my wife was about to kill me. And she's like, "Look, man, you need to go back to work."
I bet she did.
So, but like I said earlier, I mean, I'm fortunate to have a wife like I do. You know, she's been my supporter the whole time, especially with having 3 kids. You know, I didn't miss much all the years. My kids knew I was going to be there. I was going to be late. I was going to be stinky and dirty, but I was going to be there. You know, I'd show up and might be towards the end of a game, but I was coming. And now he's seeing, you know, just what it entails being a fishing guide. It's not just you show up, go fishing, and go home, and you know, it's not all play. But as you can tell, you have to talk, and I can freaking talk for 8 hours, because most of the time I'll have father, son, grandson, and they don't talk all day long, won't say a word, and I'm like, man, buddy, if you only knew how lucky you were to fish with your pawpaw. Right. You know, instead of going play with that damn game that you play with, you know,
iPad or Xbox, or nose stuck in a phone or something like that. 100%
right. You know, he always would say, what do I talk to these guys about? Talk to what we know, you know. Don't talk about religion and politics, and then you'll be all right. But, you know, just kind of feel them out.
But Five, you've been deckhanding for how long? Since you were 3 years old?
Yeah. I can't remember. Yeah.
Damn near.
Been on a boat for that long, for sure. But
he killed his first 2 deer when he was 6 on his own. So he's a heck of an outdoorsman.
Y'all hunt back home too?
Yeah. No. We hunt in the swamp at our house. We hunt in Mississippi. I'm sorry, don't tell my wife all the places that we have. No, it's good, man. And we do it all together, you know. I mean,
that's what it's about.
Well, I won't lie. My dad didn't take me because he was always hunting and fishing with his partners. So I always swore, man, I have a son. My buddies would call me, and if I couldn't bring him, I wouldn't come. You know, I went and did stuff with my buddies and all, but when he wasn't in school, we were hunting and fishing.
Right.
Yep.
You know, and it got to the point where my friends would call me, hey, is Five home? You know, I got a buddy of mine that professional, you know, fish semi-pro tournaments all over, and he'd have to go scout. You know, he'd go to Venice, he'd go all over. He'd call, hey, is Five home? Yeah. All right, I'm gonna take him with me. You know, because he knew he'd grind it all day and fish with him. Right. You know, he wouldn't whine and it's hot. You know, that dude fish from daylight till dark. So.
When you go scouting for something like that, what are you looking for? Are you looking for a number of fish or just a big fish?
Or? For redfish?
Yeah, for redfish.
Probably more quality of the fish.
Yeah. You looking more than you're fishing, be honest with you. You're like in those, you know, cases, you end up doing more trolling all day long, kind of looking for numbers of fish, and then you kind of see what kind of quality fish you have there. You know, it just.
I'm assuming they don't. If they're on a pattern, they kind of stay in that area. That
usually, but it never fails. They just had a big tournament this past week or 2 weeks ago out of Dularge, and what happens? That hurricane comes across the Gulf. Now they still had it, but the water was extremely high, and it made it fishing real tough on those guys. You know, they had to get way, way back in the skinny marsh. The fish that they had patterned out in the pockets in the bays and in interior marsh, they had to get so far back because now the water was 2 foot higher from the storm surge. You don't think about it, but the storm's 150 miles offshore, but it's still, the Gulf's a bowl, so it still pushes that water in on us, so.
Do you fish any more tournaments?
No we signed up to fish one in June, and because of Corona they canceled it. We were paid up. We will. I miss it, and now I know we could do some damage, but and like I said, when I'm not on the deck of my boat, I'm not making a living. So a lot of those guys that do that, they have a business, or they have a company where people are making them money while they're playing. Right. So that helps them a lot. When I left my house, I couldn't go for 2 weeks. I had 4 days I could give to scout, daylight to dark, and then tournament for 2, hopefully 3 days if you made a top 5. But
do they run any speckled trout tournaments?
Not so much by us. They have some rodeos, like weekend rodeos, but Texas has more like big trout tournaments. They've tried, but it never really took off in Louisiana.
What's your favorite to fish for?
Sockeye.
Oh, I hear you.
For all you rednecks listening, that's the coon-ass term for a white perch.
Yeah, yeah.
And if
That's-
you're from farther north, it's a crappie.
Yeah, that's probably one of my favorites. But I mean, speckled trout's probably my favorite fish to fish for. But you know, red fishing, it depends what kind of angler we have. A lot of times lately, he's had the guys that can throw spinner baits, chatter baits, sight fish. I got the guys that I got to teach them how to throw an egg beater, and you know, then I'm limited, so I go and I'll fish with a cork and a shrimp, bouncing on points, you know. So it just, you kind of got to feel your angler out, and then because redfishing is nothing but a bass on steroids, you know. You can catch a redfish the same way you bass fish. So you know that's what when guys go red fishing for the first time that are bass fishermen, they're like, holy smokes, you know, this is incredible.
It's a bass, but it's like a train.
Yeah,
Like a
yeah.
train, yeah.
That's the pullingest fish, I think. Guys, we're going to go to a quick break, and we'll come back and wrap this thing up.
Come by Simmons Sporting Goods and check out the new models of the X-Bolt rifle from Browning. The best there is. Now back to the Simmons Sporting Goods All Things Hunting Podcast.
Welcome back to the Simmons Sporting Goods podcast with all things hunting as well. But Lloyd, let's jump back into it. We've been talking a lot about fishing, which relates to there's more fishermen in the world than there is hunters.
I think so.
Studies have shown a lot more, I believe. And as much fishing as we talked about, let's get into something that all of us do as well, and that's deer hunt and duck hunt. And I know you mentioned earlier you just got back from Missouri. You got a little lease up there as well, and hunt a little bit in Mississippi and Louisiana. And I think we can all relate too. We travel a little bit to hunt and hunt right here at home too. But just tell us a little bit about, I guess, another passion of both of y'all's.
Bow hunting is probably our biggest passion, man. That's what we do strictly in Missouri. I've been hunting up there a long time. I hunted in Nebraska for several years, and then I moved over to Missouri, and got fortunate enough where we hunt now. We hunt on a buddy of mine's friends with Edwin Evers, and he got us hooked up. Edwin got us hooked up with his uncle, and we hunt on the Mississippi River. It's pretty. It's I guess it's almost spiritual to me. I sit in a lock on, 25 yards from the Mississippi River flowing behind me, and then I go and I fish the same water that just floated down.
It don't get much better than that, does it?
doesn't.
Something about that river, man, it just brings you closer to the Lord, to God's creation, just to everything.
It is. It's magical, and man, the deer are big. We hunt in Pike County, Missouri, which is right across from Pike County, Illinois, and we're very blessed to have what we have. It's not two big pieces of property, but ton of deer. The coon-ass way. When we first started going on this place, we'd show up, hang lock on, see deer everywhere, make a couple hunts, and saw deer, but not realizing how bad we were hurting ourselves. So now, this is 8-9 years we've been hunting this one piece of property. We know everything about it, and we know how the deer funnel in and out, and that's what we do. We normally pick a week in 1st of August. We go up, we spray everything in our food plots, hang our stands, get everything, our safety belt, all our safety stuff, everything is ready. So when we drive back up, I take a shower, I get my bow, and we creep in. And now we hunt the wind. We hunt a lot different, and we've killed some really big deer there, and there's some good duck hunting there too. And we really haven't taken a lot of advantage of it because we drive 10.5 hours to go kill those deer. And last year, man, the river was flooded, and we went hunt our river piece. We have 100 acres right on the river. And, we had to walk in chest waders to get there. And the old man thought we were crazy. And, I get up on that ridge, and there's deer everywhere.
It was like we were hunting back
At home.
Mm-hmm.
But there's greenheads everywhere. I was about to have a heart attack, because I'm sitting in the stand bow hunting, and I'm watching these greenheads just fall into this little pocket. And I'm like, So, it is what it is. We were fortunate enough to come up here and hunt on your family's property. And your brother took care of us, And man, we had a blast. We had some great hunts, and it was flooded up here at the time. You know,
A lot of water.
that's been an issue that a lot of us hunters have had the last couple of years. The river is have all been so high, flooded their banks, and the birds are just so scattered and spread out. You know, you have to hunt, you have to work. It's not just show up in a pothole, kill your 6, and you're done. And that's how we grew up hunting in the marsh down along the river and down towards Venice. You know, when I left in the morning, especially when I was guiding, we didn't leave in the dark. I had to cross the Mississippi River.
You told me that.
And people would freak out because I wouldn't cross the river in the dark. But we brought sandwiches. It was all good. And if I had to hunt till 11, 12, 1 o'clock, we came back. We had a limit of gadwalls, which we call gray ducks, widgeon, pintails. You know, we killed our birds. And, you know, I always sided on the side of safety.
100%.
You know, and you know, guys would be crying, and then you leave the launch, and I'm running my boat across, and you pass a gigantic tree, a sofa, you know, a freezer top, you know, who knows what's in that river. So,
And especially in a duck boat or a boat, like I've done it many a times crossing the river, and if you don't have enough horsepower behind you, that thing, you'll ducktail and you'll spin. And if you're wearing waders, my dad used to freak out the same way when I was little. And we say we were going to the river. He never liked it. He never did. If he knew I was in that boat with my waders on, we did wear them, but he didn't like that either. So it was, it's a dangerous animal crossing that river.
It is, and you know, and a lot of kids today, I worry about them. They bulletproof. You know, they got them 40 horsepower gated tails and pro drives running around. And we don't respect the water enough. Right. I really feel that, and you know, I guess we're fortunate. We don't have a lot of casualties, and you know, I always try to tell, especially younger boys, man, just slow down. You're not going anywhere. Take your time. You know, but I gotta beat these guys. You know, and that's another big issue. You know, but hunting that public land. But it's what we do. It's what drives us and what makes us pull weeds in our wives' flower beds and and do all them honeydews so that we can go hunting and fishing like we want. You know,
that's right. I did a little dishwashing last night. Just hunting season's right around the corner, boys. Right around the corner.
Up,
yes, that's right.
Is the duck hunting as good as it used to be when you were younger? Tell me that. I hear that it's not.
Not 1/10.
I hadn't been down there in a long time duck hunting.
Not a 10.
What do you think the main reason is for that?
You know, you hear all the arguments.
I know there's a bunch of different ones.
There is, but I mean, look, where we deer hunt in Missouri, there are so many federal refuges up and down that river that can't be hunted. They grow corn and they flood it to give the ducks cover and food, and they have big pumping stations. You know, you hear people talk in social media, and they heat the ponds. They don't heat the ponds. They circulate the water, which, you know, keeps the water from freezing. And we go all the time. There's one 5 miles, not even 4 miles from where we hunt, and in the middle of the day we'll go ride there. They have a big old spot you can pull up. Oh man, there's, you know, and you talk to the federal guy, and he's like, yeah, the numbers are down. We only have 162,000 ducks here right now. And you see 30 eagles just dive bombing the ducks and all, you know, and flooded corn. And that has a lot to do with it. And they can say what, you know, there's so many arguments. You know, a lot of guys say because, you know, farming, things have changed on the coast, and, you know, erosion issues. But you know, where we duck hunt, there's a lot of feed. You know, just the ducks don't come. After 1 or 2 years and those birds don't come, they not coming back.
Right. And, you know, talking about farming practices changing, I think, you know, I 100% agree with you on the refuges and all up there, but I think farming practices have changed around here, has hurt us some here in the Delta and probably down there too, because like right here in North Louisiana on the Mississippi Delta, where I remember growing up when I was a kid, Dad farmed. When he got the crop out, we were going hunting. We'll worry about the stalks and what's left, and all we'll worry about that next spring. Well, now, after the combine gets done running, you disc it 3 times, row it up, and it's ready for next year, and there's no food
It's
left.
clean as a whistle.
And I mean, that's got to have a lot to do with, you know, the ducks we get down
Equipment's
here
a
and
lot
what
better,
y'all
too.
get down
Combines
there
are a lot
too.
better.
Yeah.
They don't leave near as much food in the field like they used to.
No.
Same thing as deer hunting too,
Yeah.
though. You look at a cut soybean field, and it looks like this top of the table. It's dirt.
Yeah.
That's right.
But then a cut cornfield, there's still a lot of corn still left in that field, though.
If I was making my living in that field too, I mean, I don't.
Oh,
you can't
100%.
blame them.
You
You
can't
can't blame them at all.
You do
but
what's
you kind
good
of wish
for,
as a hunter,
you
like,
know,
dang, I wish.
as a farmer, you're working on your bottom line. You're not working on duck season. But
Especially ain't worried about no geese. So
No.
oh yeah,
that's a tough one.
yeah, that's
right there.
a guy that farms our place. He's, you know, where you guys hunted in a rice field last year, whereas he's like, I want to work this rice field up. I'm like, no, you have to find another farm to lease if you're gonna work this up this fall. We ain't doing that. You work it up in the spring. We're gonna hunt this thing this winter.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you on that.
And so later on in this podcast, I think we told you we're gonna try to follow where the ducks are. We through our connections through Realtree and the store, and you know, Cole and Kyle, and we know people that guide all up and down the Mississippi River, and we're really going to try to follow them all the way from the Canadian border to the coast. And I figure that's something you guys may can help us with. I know you're not guiding anymore, but
No, yeah.
well, you get, you know, holler at you and, hey, what y'all killing? What's happening down there on the coastal zone? What y'all killing? Y'all seeing mallards or whatever?
What you
And
hearing,
Yeah, we just got it. We just got in a little duck deal with a buddy of mine right
Okay.
off out of Amelia, right off the Atchafalaya River, and
Nice.
we killed some birds with him last year, and but they're the kind of hunters at 8 o'clock. They're going back to the houseboat.
It's
and go
time for Bloody
start-
Mary.
Yeah, Bloody Mary, and start the gumbo. And they're like, Lloyd, you and 5 coming? No,
We good.
I'm coming when I got 12.
yeah,
you know?
that's right.
You know, so yeah, we'd love to. You know, that is one of my bucket list things. I've hunted Canada a couple times. I'm going duck hunting up there. I want to go and I don't know how I'd pull this off, but I want to do every opening all the way down. That is something I've always wanted to do.
That'd be the dream season
It would
right
be
there.
incredible, you know.
That would be incredible to
But-
start.
I gotta start playing the lottery.
You know,
more.
well, you know how you do that. You because all them folks up there up north, they can't get their hands on fresh oysters and shrimp. You just load your ice chest up and go up there and start
And I
moving
can pay
your
my
way
way
down.
down,
That's
yeah.
right. You trade fresh shrimp and oysters for duck hunting.
Duck hunting and a meal.
Heck, you
Yeah.
have an advantage on that. Everybody
Yeah.
else be trying to give them money. I take food over money.
Yeah.
So before we wrap this up, we definitely appreciate you guys being there, and we want look all of our listeners. If you have or haven't been red fishing, speckled trout fishing, want to really experience some southern Louisiana hospitality and good fishing, I strongly encourage you to book a trip with these guys. And you want to tell them how they can get in touch with you, where they can find you?
You can look me up on Facebook, Outcast Fishing Charters, or you can call me at 504-912-8291. You know, I had a website forever,
Yeah.
and it did nothing for me. It really did. You know, just TV shows and word of mouth have been my bread and butter.
And now social media is
And social media has gotten
big
just
key.
brought a lot of people our way. But I actually just bought my website back.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
I'm gonna outcastfishingcharters.net. I'm in the process of bringing that back online, but just for basic information.
Yeah.
But,
Heck
you
yeah.
know, I was the kind of guy that I'd rather us sell ourselves. You know,
Sure.
it's you're not a number. You know, I'm not trying to just pump you through and get to the next guy the next day. That's kind of why I like my place. It's smaller, 4-bed, 4-bath. You know, you don't have to have a big giant group and rely on a bunch of other guides, and you know, we just kind of keep it amongst ourselves, and it makes it a whole lot better.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah. Well, I can vouch from the Realtree side. I work with them a lot, and I know how much you've done to help them out, and
Yeah, those guys
Take
have
it-
been great to me.
taking a bunch of those guys and all the guys that we send down there. So
I mean, this guy's got the patience to fish with David Langston.
Oh,
He can
Langston
fish
was
with
just-
anybody.
Langston was just there, I believe, a week or two
He
ago.
was. He was.
So he didn't. He has a couple other boys. Jonathan, just got off the phone with him. He's a mess too.
He have his roll tide stuff on, or y'all make him leave that in the truck.
Nah,
He ain't bringing that.
Made
You throw
him
him off
leave
the
that in
boat.
the truck. That's right.
Throw
That's
him off
right.
the boat.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
funny.
All right, guys. Well, thank y'all for listening. We appreciate you guys being here, and y'all go check them out at Outcast Fishing Charters. And as always, you can check us out at SimmonsSportingGoods.com and all things hunting on Instagram and Facebook. And we appreciate y'all listening.
Thank
We're
you.
going shopping.
All right.
We appreciate it, man. Thank y'all
Thank
for
you.
stopping by.
That's cool.
Thank y'all.